1964. Leshina, founder and leader of the Lumpa Church, a religious site that established a mixture of Christianity and mixed beliefs and rituals. The Lumpa Church rejected the authority of any earthly government, refusing to pay taxes and establishing its own tribunals. Shortly after Zambia became independent under President Kenneth Kaunda, she and her followers were engaged in a so-called Lumpa uprising, which claimed 700 lives. The uprising was suppressed and Leshina was detained, but the Lumpa Church was never entirely eradicated. She was born Alice Mulenga Lubusha in 1920 in Chinsali district of Northern Province of Northern Rhodesia. Alice was a baptismal name, while Mulenga was her traditional African name. Much information about her upbringing remains unknown. There are no further details about her mother besides her name, Musungu Chimba. Lubusha, her father, was a village policeman who fought for the British during the World War I and was a messenger for the colonial administration. The family was a member of the Crocodile clan, a distinguished clan of the Bemba kingdom. The name Leshina was a Bemba form of the Latin word Regina, which means queen. Leshina was married to Gibson Nkwale. After he died, she married Petros Chintakwa, with whom she had 5 children. Situated in a remote part of northern Rhodesia, Chinsali district was a battleground for 2 competing Christian missions, the Roman Catholic Missionaries of Africa, aka the White Fathers, based at Londola from 1938, and the United Free Church of Scotland, based at Lumpa from 1905. One of the Lumpa missionaries was David Kaunda, father of Kenneth Kaunda, who became the first president of Zambia and who was the famed opponent of the Lumpa Church. 1953. Leshina was a member of the Church of Scotland till she became very ill with cerebral malaria in September 1953, and she fell into a deep coma. Upon regaining consciousness, she claimed that during her coma, she met Jesus Christ, who gave her the task to spread a special message. She became the focus of a revival movement at Lumpa Mission, where she was baptized. Leshina preached a Christian doctrine with baptism as the only observance. She attacked witchcraft and sorcery and condemned the consumption of alcohol and the practice of polygamy. Gradually, the revival became a witchcraft eradication movement and evolved into an independent church called the Lumpa Church in 1955. A grand temple was built in Zion, the name given to her home village, in 1958. The Lumpa Church was the answer for women who wanted a more active leadership role. The European missionaries were often a demeaning presence that devalued African culture, especially the importance of women. The Lumpa Church resulted from the Bemba women's reactions against the missionaries who kept them from subordinate positions. The new church rapidly joined the competition for souls against the Roman Catholic and the Church of Scotland. Lumpa was so successful that by the late 1950s, it might have had 150,000 members in the northern and eastern provinces of northern Rhodesia. The church's drive for members was so aggressive that it was seen as a political threat by the colonial Northern Rhodesia government. At first, the Lumpa Church was closed, to the main black organization fighting for independence, the Northern Rhodesia African National Congress, ANC. However, when Kenneth Kaunda left the ANC in 1958 and formed the more militant United National Independence Party, there arose a competition for members between the new church and the new party. Villages were split as Lumpa leaders ordered their members to establish separate villages by moving out of villages where they lived alongside UNIP members. The conflict between UNIP and the Lumpa Church reaches climax in July to October 1964. Just before Northern Rhodesia's independence, on July 24, 1964, a gun battle broke out between UNIP and the Lumpa Church members. The resulting riots were only equated by the intervention of state troops and the proclamation of a state of emergency by the new pre-independence Prime Minister, Kenneth Kaunda. About 1,000 people died in the clashes between Lumpa Church members, UNIP members, and the security forces. Approximately 15,000 Lumpa Church members fled and took refuge in Congo. Some of them never returned to Zambia. The Lumpa Church was burned on 3rd August 1964, and Leshina surrendered to the police a few days later. Hardly anyone faulted Leshina for the violence that took place. This was evident when her biggest critic, Kaunda, never called her for trial in court. Even though she was the symbol of the Lumpa Church, she adamantly denied any involvement in the political disturbances. The political aspirations of her counterparts took over her desires of religious and cultural revival. Alice Leshina herself played no significant role in the Lumpa Church's political activities. She regretted the fact that the political actions weakened the religious impact of her message, which stressed the sanctity of marriage, opposed both polygamy and traditional African folk magic, and promoted the upliftment of common people, especially women. Leshina never faced a trial but was detained by Kenneth Kaunda in Mumbwa district. Beginning in August 1964, her husband Petros, who died in 1972, was detained with her. In 1965, they were moved to Kalabo district near the Angolan border, but they escaped in 1967. They were caught and jailed for 6 months and restricted in Mukushi district. In May 1970, Kaunda placed her in detention and ordered the destruction of her temple church in her home village of Kasomo. And finally, she was released from detention in December 1975, but was put under house arrest in Lusaka's New Chilenje compound. Leshina dies on December 7, 1978, while under house arrest, and was eventually buried at Kasomo village, where the Kamtola Church stood. The Lumpa Church continues to exist to this day, though it is split and called by various names, the most prominent of which are Uluse Kamtola Church under Chilemwani Nkonde. This is the biggest. Jerusalem Church under Bubidi, who is Leshina's daughter, and New Jerusalem Church under Nkanya in Kitwe's Chimwemwe Township. The Lumpa Church lives on.